The boy is named Makoto, and his story starts with his origin. His parents are residents of another world. They made a deal with the goddess in charge of the world to offer one important thing to the goddess, their son Makoto, in exchange for a chance to live in Earth. Now it is the appointed time. The god in charge of the Earth is kind and he gives Makoto enough power to survive in another world before sending him to the goddess. The goddess wanted to make Makoto, who she purchases, a human hero, but she only likes good-looking humans, so she sends Makoto, who is ugly, to the edge of the world where orcs live and gives him only the ability to communicate with other races. Makoto is lost in a desolate place and complains in frustration about the injustice of fate. At this time, he meets an orc girl who is attacked by a monster. Makoto is a boy with a sense of justice. He rushes to fight the monster and soon kills him. Only then does he realize that the power given to him by the god is quite powerful. The orc girl tells Makoto that her name is Emma and she lives in a nearby orc tribe. Recently, a dragon appeared on the mountain, asking the orcs to offer sacrifices. Emma is chosen as a sacrifice and encounters an attack by monsters on the way to the mountain. She thanks Makoto for his rescue and serves him a wonderful meal in the orc tribe. The orcs are whispering about Makoto's appearance, because in this world, humans are all good looking, and they have never seen a human as ugly as Makoto, who doesn't notice what they are talking about and pays all his attention to Emma, who manipulates the dishes with magic. He asks Emma to teach him how to cast magic. Emma willingly agrees. Makoto is incredibly gifted and casts a powerful fireball the first time he casts magic. The closer Makoto and Emma get, the more he doesn't want her to be a sacrifice. Makoto decides to defeat the dragon to save Emma. He waits until dawn and immediately goes to the mountain where the dragon is. Along the way, Makoto still practices the magic he learned from Emma. He makes a bow and arrows with flames and hits a group of monsters nearby. Makoto learns from the monsters' conversations before they died that they demanded sacrifices from orcs in the name of dragons before. At this time, the dragon is awakened by the magic cast by Makoto, thinking that Makoto is provoking him, and then angrily attacks Makoto. A fierce battle breaks out between them. Makoto gains the advantage with his strong power, but the dragon soon uses its unique ability to create illusions by reading the enemy's memories, and then tempts the enemy to lose himself. In the illusion, Makoto is confessed by a female classmate named Nukumi, who is beautiful and has an attractive body. He feels inferior because of his appearance and rejects Nukumi. Even so, Nukumi smiles and still likes him. At this time, Makoto recalls the fact. Actually, when Nukumi was rejected, she cried very sadly. Makoto realizes that all this is an illusion and quickly escapes from it. Meanwhile, the dragon is lost in Makoto's memory and is full of curiosity about everything on Earth. It doesn't want to fight anymore and just wants to stay by Makoto's side to watch his memories. So it proposes to make a contract with him to establish their master-servant relationship. Makoto doesn't understand what it means since he just came to this world, but he doesn't want to become an enemy of the powerful dragon, so he happily agrees. However, the magic power in Makoto's body is much stronger than that of the dragon, which leads to a change in the master-servant contract. The dragon becomes Makoto's servant, and Makoto, as the master, can use the dragon's abilities at will. The dragon is not resistant to having a powerful master, so she takes on human form and asks Makoto to give her a name. Makoto names her Tomoe and takes her to clear up the misunderstanding with the orcs. After the crisis is resolved, the orcs host a grand celebration for Makoto and Tomoe, and Emma excitedly shows her gratitude towards Makoto at the event. Tomoe loves this group of passionate orcs. Noticing the bad environment in which orcs live, she comes up with an idea. Tomoe is in charge of a deserted space that has changed since she and Makoto signed a contract. It is now filled with plants on Earth and the land has become fertile. Tomoe invites the orcs to move into her space, and the orcs gratefully agree. Tomoe creates a small doppelganger to take care of the orcs' life here, and Makoto is busy cutting down trees to help the orcs build houses. With just a slash of his dagger, a huge tree is easily cut off. While the orcs are busy building their new home, Tomoe rescues a dwarf who is hunted down by a black spider. The black spider then follows Tomoe and breaks into the space. Tomoe vigilantly protects the dwarf, while Makoto fights the black spider. He finds that the black spider has a strong ability of self-repair and can quickly get recovered. The weirdest thing is that the black spider gets more excited every time it gets hit. It seems to enjoy being hurt by Makoto. Makoto has difficulty defeating the black spider and is accidentally caught by it. He breaks free with force, casting fireballs and water magic in a row as a counterattack. Unfortunately, until Makoto runs out of his strength and falls into a coma, the black spider still maintains its best condition. It affectionately holds Makoto, indicating that it wants to be with him forever. Apparently, the black spider has become obsessed with Makoto. Tomoe suggests that the black spider become Makoto's servant like her. The black spider agrees without hesitation and signs a contract with Makoto. When Makoto comes to his senses, the black spider has already transformed into a black-haired woman and explains to him everything that just happened. Makoto feels surprised that he has got a powerful minion when he is sleeping. Immediately after, he names the black spider Mio. At this time, the dwarf saved by Tomoe makes a request to Makoto. He wants to take the entire dwarven village into this space to avoid being attacked by monsters again. Makoto agrees to it on the condition that the dwarves need to help the orcs build their homes. In addition to the dwarves, Tomoe and Mio also respectively move their spider tribe and lizard tribe into the space. Now various races gather in this space, like a kingdom led by Makoto. But Makoto can't be happy at all because he can't find a human in this space. In order to contact humans, he comes to the human town. Strangely, all humans flee in fear when they see Makoto, even attacking him. Makoto notices that these humans are good-looking, thinking he is ostracized because he is too ugly, and then he bleats to his friends in frustration. Tomoe immediately tells the real reason. Makoto's magic power is so strong that humans think he is as terrifying as the combination of several demon kings. In order to solve this problem, Makoto asks for the help of a dwarf who is good at making magical equipment to create the equipment which can hide his magic power. After a long period of study, the dwarf creates a ring. Makoto excitedly puts on the ring and takes Tomoe and Mio into the human town. In order to prevent his appearance from being criticized, Makoto also wears a mask. In the human town, the streets are full of handsome guys and beauties, which makes Makoto overwhelmed and always wear a mask. He notices the Adventurers Guild in town and registers as an adventurer with his companions out of curiosity. The receptionist tests their levels one by one. The highest level of adventurers in the guild is level 400, while Mio's level is 1500. Although Tomoe is weak, she also has a level of 1320. Now they attract all adventurers' attention. At this time, an interesting thing happens. Makoto, who can rule the two powerful servants, has a level of 1, so all the humans on the spot regard him as a rookie. Sometimes looking weak isn't necessarily a bad thing. Mio and Tomoe's high levels quickly bring them trouble. After they leave the Adventurers Guild, a little girl suddenly rushes into Makoto's arms and asks him for help. Darkness falls. Makoto takes the little girl to the hotel for safety reasons. The girl's name is Rinyon, and her sister Toa disappeared while she was out looking for work. She then takes out Toa's sketch and asks Makoto to help find her sister. Surprisingly, the girl in the sketch looks just like Nukumi, who once confessed her love to Makoto. It reminds Makoto of his memory and he agrees to Rinyon's request. After Rinyon leaves, Tomoe notices a group of thieves outside the house trying to enter the house and attack. She fights alone, easily defeating all the thieves, and also captures one of them as a captive. By searching the captive's memories, she learns that both the thieves and Rinyon are from the Thieves Guild. Knowing this information, Makoto secretly follows Rinyon to investigate this incident. Through Rinyon's conversations with the adventurers, he finds out the truth. Rinyon and Toa owe the Adventurers Guild a lot of money. To pay off the debt, Toa becomes their slave and is tortured. In order to rescue Toa, Rinyon promises to work for the Adventurers Guild. The adventurers believe that Tomoe and Mio must be rich, so they ask Rinyon to attract their attention, and then wait for the opportunity to steal something. Unexpectedly, Tomoe detected their movement, causing their plan to fail. Makoto is so kind that even though he knows he was deceived, he still decides to help the two poor girls Rinyon and Toa. He asks Tomoe and Mio to break into the place where Toa is imprisoned and save Toa. Because they overdo their actions, they attract the attention of adventurers. The strongest adventurer is an arrogant man who asks Tomoe and Mio to join his team, otherwise he will attack them with all the adventurers. Such arrogant behavior causes him to be beaten up by Tomoe and Mio. Finally, Toa successfully reunites with Rinyon. To help the two girls avoid being bullied by adventurers again, Makoto takes them in to be his subordinates. After that, Makoto intends to continue his adventures in the human world. He wants to find out what his parents went through before traveling to another world, which may help him travel back to Earth. He takes the girls to the nearest large city. Along the way, he is always attracted by Toa, who looks exactly like Nukumi except for her hair color. Later, they encounter rare ruby-eye ants with extremely strong attack power. Makoto doesn't take them seriously, killing a group of ruby-eye ants by just casually shooting them with arrows, and then he collects materials from them. Soon after, they reach their destination. They receive a new version of their Adventurer ID card at the Adventurers Guild here, which can be used for remote communication. Makoto notices that the most difficult task in the guild is to collect the eyes of ruby-eye ants. Thinking that he had just easily killed a swarm of ruby-eye ants, he plans to take a break and then go to collect the bounty for this task. At this time, he notices that there is a merchant guild next to the Adventurers Guild. Makoto is interested in trade. After asking around, he learns that before becoming a merchant, he has to pass a very difficult professional exam. Makoto finds that it is just a test of some basic mathematical knowledge, which is completely easy for him. So he confidently signs up for the exam. The examiner has never seen a candidate as young as Makoto, contemptuously mocking that he must be unable to pass the exam. Unexpectedly, Makoto takes only half of the test time to pass the exam and gains full marks. The examiner is too surprised to speak and recognizes Makoto's qualification to become a merchant. Makoto goes to the hotel to have a rest with satisfaction. Tonight he will stay in one room with Mio and Tomoe, which is specially arranged by Mio and Tomoe. Recently, they have found a substance to store Makoto's memories so they can watch them at any time. The more they get to know Makoto, the more they are fascinated by his charisma. They decide to compete for ownership of Makoto tonight. Unexpectedly, Makoto is an upright man. The two women use various means to seduce him but fail to make him submit. They can only spend the night in regret. During the day, Makoto finds Patrick alone. who issues the most difficult task and is the controller of a chamber of commerce. Patrick's wife and daughters have been cursed to become zombies, and he needs to make medicine with the eyes of ruby eyes ants to heal them. After receiving the materials provided by Makoto, he excitedly sends someone to make medicine for his family, only to be injured by the family members who lost their minds. Makoto sympathizes with Patrick for his suffering and stops the zombies with his strong power. Patrick takes the opportunity to give them medicine, making his wife and daughters finally return to normal. After accepting Patrick's gratitude and his bounty, Makoto leaves. Mio and Tomoe are waiting for him at the door. They report a problem to Makoto. Recently, they often find time to fight the warriors in Tomoe's space, trying to improve the strength of the warriors in this way. However, they gradually lose their fighting spirit because they cannot defeat Mio and Tomoe. Makoto comes up with a way, proposing holding regular fighting competitions in Tomoe's space. Warriors of each race will be ranked according to their results in the competition, which will become a measure of their strength. Many warriors dispute, worrying that they will expose the tactics of their races in battle. Tomoe says that all races in the space are now companions, and they don't need to defend against each other. Instead, they need to improve their strength to prevent enemies from invading. Finally, the fighting competition is successfully held, which indeed makes the warriors stronger and stronger. Fighting competitions have gradually become one of the traditions in the space. In addition, Makoto asks Tomoe to conduct special training for Toa, so that Toa can be strong enough to protect herself. Recently, Toa and several adventurers formed a team, and they participate in Tomoe's special training together, hunting monsters everywhere. They gradually become a well-known team of adventurers among humans. Makoto finally feels unworried about Toa. He then plans to found a merchant guild, so he asks Patrick for suitable locations. Patrick doesn't want Makoto's Chamber of Commerce to compete with his, so he recommends another city. Under Patrick's guidance, Makoto's Chamber of Commerce is successfully established. In fact, Makoto founds this Chamber of Commerce because he wants the different races in the space to live a better life by selling products. In this world, humans ostracize other races, and things from other races cannot be sold in the Chamber of Commerce. To celebrate the founding of the Chamber of Commerce, Makoto hosts a grand banquet in Tomoe's space. While everyone is partying, Tomoe and Mio suddenly notice that Makoto's scent disappears. They anxiously look for him everywhere and finally find Makoto practicing archery in a forest. Makoto will clear his mind when he shoots arrows, causing his consciousness to merge with the surrounding environment. So Tomoe and Mio can't feel Makoto's scent, misunderstanding that he has died. Seeing that Makoto is still alive, Mio cries and throws herself into Makoto's arms. Tomoe knows Makoto's experience very well, and she makes some analysis based on Makoto's practice. Whenever Makoto practices, he will reorganize his soul and devour all the mana around him, thus increasing his mana. Now, Makoto's mana has reached a level comparable to that of the goddess, and the ring made by the dwarf before cannot hide his mana anymore. Tomoe thinks that if the goddess knows about it, she will definitely take action against Makoto, so she persuades him to find a way to deal with it as soon as possible. Makoto is distressed and comes to the human city alone to relax. A woman in a special job tries to seduce him and he doesn't know what to do. Tomoe and Mio are worried about his safety and keep following him. Furious, they drag Makoto away to the hotel, saying that he can only be served by them. They tear Makoto's clothes and plan to force him to have intimate interactions with them. Makoto hurriedly casts magic to resist and flees back into the space. After he calms down, he asks the dwarf to help him make new equipment to hide his magic. After that, Makoto plans to start running his Chamber of Commerce. He believes that a Chamber of Commerce must have attractive enough signature products, and a rare flower that has recently become popular is the best choice. This flower only grows in a forest controlled by the elves, and few people dare to pick it. Makoto takes Mio into the forest to collect flowers. He carefully observes the surrounding environment and unconsciously holds Mio's hand. Mio blushes shyly, enjoying the bliss of the moment. Suddenly, two elves attack them and a group of adventurers who have broken into the forest. Makoto first contacts Tomoe with the adventurer ID card and sends the adventurers into Tomoe's space to avoid accidental injury. After that, he casts magic to defeat the elves. Makoto says that he is not here to snatch the flowers, but to trade with them. The elves do not dare to decide on their own, so they take Makoto and Mio to find the elders of the elven clan. Makoto is polite and respects the interests of the elves. His performance wins the trust of the elders. They agree to Makoto's request and plan to welcome him with a banquet in the evening. The strongest warrior in the elven clan is curious about Makoto, an outsider, and tries to test Makoto's strength with a handshake, but Mio just slaps him away. Mio does this for two reasons. One is that she doesn't allow anyone other than her to hold Makoto's hand, and the other is that she notices the strange aura of the warrior and suspects that he is possessed by other creatures. Mio's guess is right. At night, the warrior openly drains the life from an elf at the banquet. Immediately after, he reveals his true identity as a lich and intends to attack more elves. Fortunately, Makoto intervenes in time, not only preventing Lich from casting magic, but also making the Lich temporarily lose his fighting power. At this time, Tomoe rushes to the scene out of concern for Makoto and helps interrogate the Lich. The Lich confesses that he used to be a human who was proficient in magic and dreamed of traveling to another world. He heard that he could find a way to achieve this goal as long as he became a race beyond humans. So he became the Lich, making a living by sucking the life of other creatures everywhere. Tomoe dismisses his thoughts immediately, saying that only when he enters the space-time rift with the permission of the goddess can he travel to another world. But it is dangerous and the survival rate is extremely low. The Lich is disappointed and is ready to be executed by Makoto. Unexpectedly, not only is he not executed, but he is also invited to become Makoto's subordinate. Makoto also promises to help him find a way to travel to another world. The Lich is impressed by Makoto's kindness and signs the contract immediately. After they sign the contract, the Lich transforms into a red-haired man, and Makoto names him Shiki. Just then, an accident happens. Tomoe is inexplicably injured and falls to the ground in pain. Makoto does not notice an enemy nearby, suspecting that there is an anomaly in Tomoe's space. He quickly takes Shiki to the space, leaving Mio to take care of Tomoe. Makoto discovers that there had been a huge explosion in the space and many residents are seriously injured. He sees some fog at the scene, which are memory fragments of the dead residents. By searching these memories, Makoto learns that the adventurers he has taken in before were stealing in the space. They wanted to escape the space with the stolen goods and fought Tomoe's doppelganger, which accidentally caused a violent explosion. Tomoe's doppelganger and many orcs died, and only one blonde woman in the adventurers team escaped alive. Makoto is so furious for the first time since he traveled to another world. He catches up with the fleeing blonde woman and decisively kills her. It is the first time in his life that he killed someone, but he does not hesitate, which makes him realize that his mind is changing. After that, Makoto holds a funeral for the dead residents. Tomoe is getting better, but her doppelganger is completely dead. In order to avoid the recurrence of similar incidents, Makoto has developed various defense systems in the space. Believing that only by knowing enough about the world can he better protect his companions, he decides to go to the academy in the human world to learn knowledge. Makoto takes Shiki to the academy with the portal of the human city, which reveals his whereabouts, causing the goddess to perceive Makoto's recent movements. She then sends Makoto to a deserted place. Makoto is unprepared and attacked by two demons. This is the first time Makoto has been injured so badly since he traveled to another world. From the arrogant provocations of the demon warriors, Makoto learns that this is a battlefield between humans and demons. One of them is the demon warrior Sophia and the other is the magician Mitsurugi. They treat Makoto, who suddenly arrives, as a hero sent by the goddess, and don't listen to him no matter how much he explains. Mitsurugi casts various magics to attack, while Sophia rushes towards Makoto with a large sword. Makoto's magic power is far stronger than Mitsurugi's, and he breaks Mitsurugi's defenses with continuous flames and water. When Sophia gets close, Makoto shatters her great sword with a dagger with all his might. Sophia can only use her final shot, holding Makoto tightly and flying into the sky, then returning to the ground alone. If Makoto falls to the ground just like that, he will definitely die. In despair, Makoto launches the most violent attack to the ground. The huge impact not only allows him to avoid a direct fall, but also blasts a large hole in the ground. Sophia and Mitsurugi are both seriously wounded and the battle is halted. When Makoto wakes up again, he has been taken back to Tomoe's space. It turns out that after he disappeared, his companions asked everywhere for clues about him. They found out that a mysterious man with extremely powerful magic appeared on the battlefield, and guessed it was Makoto, so they rushed to the scene to save him. In addition, they also find out that there are two heroes in the human army who obey the goddess. If Makoto meets them, a fiercer battle may break out. Makoto then sighs. He knows that the goddess will not let him go easily. What he can do now is to make himself stronger while collecting all kinds of intelligence about this world. He also has to take care of a large number of residents in the space. It seems that his adventure in another world is not over. That brings the end of this anime.